Question 1. Who built the Tower of London and why? A. William the Conqueror for defensive purposes. B. Henry VIII as a royal residence. C. Elizabeth I to imprison rivals. D. Charles II as a museum. Answer. A. William the Conqueror for defensive purposes. The Tower of London was built by William the Conqueror in 1066 as part of the Norman conquest of England to demonstrate Norman power and to provide a base for controlling the local population. Question 2. What was the purpose of the Domesday Book? A. To record the taxes owed by the population. B. To catalogue the flora and fauna of England. C. To serve as a guide for medieval knights. D. To chronicle the battles of the 100 Years' War. Answer. A. To record the taxes owed by the population. The Domesday Book was commissioned by William the Conqueror in 1086 to assess the extent of the land and resources being owned in England, mainly for taxation purposes. Question 3. Who signed the Magna Carta and in what year? A. King John in 1215. B. Queen Elizabeth I in 1588. C. King Henry V in 1415. D. King Richard I in 1485. Answer. A. King John in 1215. The Magna Carta was signed by King John of England in 1215 and is one of the most important documents in the history of democracy as it limited the powers of the monarch. Question 4. Describe the Wars of the Roses. Who were the opposing sides? A. The Lancaster and the York families. B. The Normans and the Saxons. C. The Tudors and the Stuarts. D. The Plantagenets and the Picts. Answer. A. The Lancaster and the York families. The Wars of the Roses, 1455 to 1487, were a series of civil wars fought over the English throne between supporters of the Lancaster and York families. Question 5. What was the outcome of the English Civil War? A. The monarchy was restored. B. The establishment of parliamentary supremacy. C. The signing of the Magna Carta. D. The division of England into shires. Answer. B. The establishment of parliamentary supremacy. The English Civil War, 1642 to 1651, resulted in the trial and execution of Charles I, the exile of his son, Charles II, and the replacement of the English monarchy with, at first, the Commonwealth of England, and then the Protectorate under Oliver Cromwell's rule. Question 6. Who was the Lord Protector of the Commonwealth of England? A. Oliver Cromwell. B. Richard Cromwell. C. Thomas Fairfax. D. William II. Answer. A. Oliver Cromwell. Oliver Cromwell was appointed the Lord Protector of the Commonwealth of England, Scotland, and Ireland, serving from 1653 until his death in 1658. Question 7. What caused the Great Fire of London, and what year did it occur? A. A bakery oven in Pudding Lane, 1666. B. A lightning strike, 1644. C. Industrial accidents, 1700. D. Arson during civil unrest, 1675. Answer. A. A bakery oven in Pudding Lane, 1666. The Great Fire of London, which occurred in 1666, was caused by an unattended bakery oven in Pudding Lane and destroyed much of London. Question 8. Name the principles established by the Glorious Revolution. A. The right to bear arms and no taxation without representation. B. The supremacy of the monarchy. C. Freedom of speech and abolition of the death penalty. D. Parliamentary sovereignty and the rights of citizens to petition. Answer: D. Parliamentary sovereignty and the rights of citizens to petition. The Glorious Revolution of 1688 established the constitutional monarchy, which affirmed parliamentary sovereignty and the rights of citizens to petition the king. Question 9. What were the Corn Laws, and why were they controversial? A. Trade laws regulating colonial imports, controversial for favouring merchants. B. Agricultural tariffs protecting British landowners, controversial for raising food prices. C. Laws on corn production, controversial for their environmental impact. D. Legislation on land reform, controversial for displacing tenants. Answer: B. Agricultural tariffs protecting British landowners, controversial for raising food prices. The Corn Laws were imposed in 1815 to protect British landowners by imposing high tariffs on imported grain, leading to higher food prices and widespread discontent among the general population. Question 10. Describe the role of the UK in the slave trade and its abolition. A. The UK was a minor participant and one of the last to abolish it. B. The UK led the global slave trade and was the first to abolish it. C. The UK played a central role in the slave trade and was instrumental in its abolition. D. The UK opposed the slave trade and provided sanctuary to freed slaves. Answer: C. The UK played a central role in the slave trade and was instrumental in its abolition. The UK was a major player in the transatlantic slave trade, but also took a pioneering role in the abolition movement, passing the Slave Trade Act in 1807 and the Slavery Abolition Act in 1833. Question 11. Who was the Prime Minister during the formation of the United Kingdom? A. Winston Churchill. B. Robert Walpole. C. William Pitt the Younger. D. Queen Anne. Answer: C. William Pitt the Younger. William Pitt the Younger was the Prime Minister during the Acts of Union in 1800, which formally united the kingdoms of Great Britain and Ireland into the United Kingdom. Question 12. What were the major reforms of the Reform Act 1832? A. It extended the right to vote to all men and women over the age of 21. B. It abolished the slave trade throughout the British Empire. C. It redistributed seats in the House of Commons and expanded the electorate. D. It established the National Health Service. Answer: C. It redistributed seats in the House of Commons and expanded the electorate. The Reform Act of 1832, also known as the Representation of the People Act 1832, made significant changes to the electoral system of England and Wales, addressing gross inequalities in representation. Question 13. Who was responsible for the Irish potato famine and its impact? A. The British government's policies. B. Irish farmers' cultivation methods. C. The French government. D. Natural weather phenomena only. Answer: A. The British government's policies. While the famine was triggered by a potato disease, the widespread devastation was significantly exacerbated by the British government's inadequate response and harmful economic policies. Question 14. What did the Public Health Act 1848 aim to improve? A. Education standards across the UK. B. Public housing conditions. C. Sanitation and public health to combat frequent cholera outbreaks. D. Employment laws and workers' rights. Answer: C. Sanitation and public health to combat frequent cholera outbreaks. The Public Health Act 1848 was introduced in response to the cholera epidemics and squalid living conditions, marking the beginning of government intervention in public health in the UK. Question 15. Who were the suffragettes and what did they achieve? A. A group of women who campaigned for women's right to vote. B. Female activists who fought for educational reforms. C. Women who campaigned against the alcohol trade. D. A political party that sought equal rights for men and women. Answer: A. A group of women who campaigned for women's right to vote. The suffragettes were members of militant women's organizations in the early 20th century who, under leaders like Emmeline Pankhurst, fought for the right to vote in public elections, a right that was granted over several years and fully realized in 1928. Question 16. What was the main objective of the British Home Rule movement? A. To grant independence to colonial territories. B. To establish a Home Rule system in Ireland. C. To reform the education system in Britain. D. To decentralize economic decision-making. Answer: B. To establish a Home Rule system in Ireland. The British Home Rule movement was primarily focused on granting Ireland self-government and was marked by the introduction of several Home Rule bills, the first being in 1886. Question 17. What triggered the First World War and Britain's involvement in it? A. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria. B. Economic tensions in Europe. C. A direct attack on British colonies. D. Disputes over territories in Africa. Answer: A. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria. While the assassination in 1914 triggered the war, Britain became involved due to its obligations to defend Belgium under the Treaty of London and to counter the threat posed by the German Empire. Question 18. Describe the impact of the Treaty of Versailles on Britain. A. It led to a significant increase in British territory. B. It weakened Britain's economy and international standing. C. It was largely beneficial, strengthening Britain's global influence. D. It imposed heavy reparations on Britain. Answer: B. It weakened Britain's economy and international standing. The Treaty of Versailles in 1919, ending World War I, had mixed impacts. While it expanded the British Empire with mandates, it also strained the economy and contributed to a complex international environment that led to World War II. Question 19. What was the purpose of the British Empire exhibition in 1924? A. To boost trade and strengthen economic ties within the British Empire. B. To celebrate the end of World War I. C. To initiate diplomatic relations with non-empire countries. D. To showcase British military strength. Answer: A. To boost trade and strengthen economic ties within the British Empire. Held in Wembley, London, the British Empire exhibition aimed to stimulate trade, strengthen bonds between Britain and its colonies, and demonstrate Britain's empire resources. Question 20. How did the Great Depression affect the United Kingdom? A. It had minimal impact due to Britain's strong economic policies. B. It led to widespread unemployment and social unrest. C. It improved technological innovations in industry. D. It increased Britain's exports significantly. Answer: B. It led to widespread unemployment and social unrest. The Great Depression in the 1930s severely impacted the UK's economy, leading to high unemployment rates, poverty, and significant social and political challenges. Question 21. What was the significance of the Battle of Britain in 1940? A. It marked the end of World War II. B. It was the first major military campaign fought entirely by air forces. C. It led to the immediate invasion of Britain by German forces. D. It resulted in a significant loss of British territories overseas. Answer B. It was the first major military campaign fought entirely by air forces. The Battle of Britain in 1940 was significant as the first major military campaign fought entirely by air forces, and it marked a crucial turning point in the Allies' favour during World War II. Question 22. Explain the main goals of the Beveridge Report. A. To introduce women's suffrage. B. To outline the foundations of the modern welfare state. C. To promote free trade agreements. D. To establish the United Nations. Answer B. To outline the foundations of the modern welfare state. The Beveridge Report, published in 1942 by Sir William Beveridge, aimed to provide a comprehensive system of social insurance from cradle to grave and was instrumental in the establishment of the post-war welfare state in Britain. Question 23. What was the Windrush generation and why is it significant? A. A generation of children born during World War II. B. Immigrants who came to the UK from the Caribbean in 1948 and are significant for their role in post-war rebuilding. C. Scientists who migrated to Britain in the 1960s. D. Politicians elected during the Cold War. Answer B. Immigrants who came to the UK from the Caribbean in 1948 and are significant for their role in post-war rebuilding. The Windrush generation significantly contributed to Britain's labour force and helped shape British multicultural society. Question 24. Describe the Suez Crisis of 1956. A. A conflict that resulted from Britain's financial collapse. B. A diplomatic event that reinforced British colonial power. C. An invasion of Egypt by Israel, followed by the UK and France, aiming to regain Western control of the Suez Canal. D. A peaceful resolution to disputes over the Suez Canal. Answer C. An invasion of Egypt by Israel, followed by the UK and France, aiming to regain Western control of the Suez Canal. The Suez Crisis marked the decline of Britain's role as a global power. Question 25. What was the Winter of Discontent and when did it occur? A. A severe winter in 1947 that caused economic hardship. B. A series of strikes by public sector workers during the winter of 1978 to 1979 due to disputes over pay. C. A financial crisis in the mid-1980s. D. The public's reaction to the Falklands War. Answer B. A series of strikes by public sector workers during the winter of 1978 to 1979 due to disputes over pay. The Winter of Discontent led to significant changes in public policy regarding trade unions and labour rights. Question 26. How did the Falklands War start, and what was the outcome? A. Initiated by a British invasion, resulting in a quick victory. B. Began with Argentina's invasion of the Falkland Islands, resulting in British military victory. C. Started by diplomatic failure, leading to an ongoing conflict. D. Began with trade disputes, resolved through negotiations. Answer B. Began with Argentina's invasion of the Falkland Islands, resulting in British military victory. The Falklands War in 1982 reinforced Britain's commitment to defending its overseas territories. Question 27. What were the main provisions of the Good Friday Agreement? A. The unification of Ireland. B. A peace agreement signed in 1998 to end the conflict in Northern Ireland, involving the decommissioning of weapons and establishing a devolved government. C. A declaration of war. D. A trade agreement between Northern Ireland and Great Britain. Answer B. A peace agreement signed in 1998 to end the conflict in Northern Ireland, involving the decommissioning of weapons and establishing a devolved government. The Good Friday Agreement was a major step towards achieving a lasting peace in Northern Ireland. Question 28. Who is known as the Iron Lady and why? A. Queen Elizabeth I for her steely diplomacy. B. Margaret Thatcher for her tough economic and political policies. C. Theresa May for her negotiation skills in Brexit. D. Angela Merkel for her influence in European politics. Answer: B. Margaret Thatcher for her tough economic and political policies. Margaret Thatcher, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1979 to 1990, earned the nickname Iron Lady for her uncompromising leadership style and rigorous defense of political positions. Question 29. Explain the role of the Prime Minister's questions. PMQs. A. A monthly session where the Prime Minister addresses questions from the public. B. A weekly session where members of Parliament ask questions of the Prime Minister. C. A ceremonial event where the Prime Minister outlines government policies. D. An annual debate to review the Prime Minister's performance. Answer: B. A weekly session where members of Parliament ask questions of the Prime Minister. PMQs is a key aspect of parliamentary democracy in the UK, allowing MPs to hold the Prime Minister and government accountable. Question 30. What are the main functions of the House of Lords? A. Solely to elect the Prime Minister. B. To review legislation passed by the House of Commons. C. To draft and propose new laws. D. To serve as the UK's highest court. Answer: B. To review legislation passed by the House of Commons. The House of Lords acts as a revising chamber, scrutinising and potentially amending bills that have been approved by the House of Commons. Question 31. Describe the process of devolution in Scotland. A. The transfer of powers from the Scottish Parliament to the UK Parliament. B. The granting of independence to Scotland from the UK. C. The transfer of certain legislative powers from the UK Parliament to the Scottish Parliament. D. The elimination of the Scottish Parliament. Answer: C. The transfer of certain legislative powers from the UK Parliament to the Scottish Parliament. Devolution in Scotland involves the granting of powers over certain domestic policy areas from the UK Parliament to the Scottish Parliament, established in 1999 following a referendum. Question 32. What powers are devolved to the Welsh Assembly? A. Foreign policy and defence. B. Health, education and transportation. C. Tax collection and monetary policy. D. Immigration and citizenship. Answer: B. Health, education and transportation. The Welsh Assembly, known as the Senedd, has devolved powers over several key areas, including healthcare, education and transportation, allowing it to make policy decisions specific to Wales. Question 33. What was the significance of the Scotland Act 1998? A. It declared Scotland independent from the UK. B. It established the Scottish Parliament with powers to legislate on devolved matters. C. It abolished the Scottish legal system. D. It merged Scotland with Northern Ireland. Answer: B. It established the Scottish Parliament with powers to legislate on devolved matters. The Scotland Act 1998 was significant because it marked the formal establishment of the Scottish Parliament, enabling Scotland to govern itself in specific areas. Question 34. What is the difference between civil law and criminal law in the UK? A. Civil law deals with disputes between individuals, while criminal law deals with crimes against the state. B. Civil law is based on legislation, while criminal law is based on moral codes. C. There is no difference. Both terms refer to the same legal processes. D. Civil law governs education, while criminal law governs health. Answer: A. Civil law deals with disputes between individuals, while criminal law deals with crimes against the state. This distinction is crucial in how legal cases are processed and the types of laws that apply. Question 35. Who appoints the members of the House of Lords? A. The Queen on the advice of the Prime Minister. B. The members are elected by the public. C. The House of Commons nominates members. D. The Lord Chancellor alone. Answer: A. The Queen on the advice of the Prime Minister. Members of the House of Lords are appointed by the Queen, but the Prime Minister provides recommendations, particularly for life peers. Question 36. What is the Crown Prosecution Service and what does it do? A. It manages the UK's royal properties. B. It prosecutes criminal cases in England and Wales. C. It provides legal advice to the monarch. D. It oversees the issuance of royal decrees. Answer: B. It prosecutes criminal cases in England and Wales. The Crown Prosecution Service, CPS, is responsible for prosecuting criminal cases investigated by the police in England and Wales, making it a crucial component of the criminal justice system. Question 37. How is a law passed in the United Kingdom? A. A law is passed by the monarch's decree alone. B. A bill must be approved by the House of Commons, the House of Lords, and receive royal assent. C. A bill is passed after a public referendum. D. Laws are automatically passed if proposed by the Prime Minister. Answer: B. A bill must be approved by the House of Commons, the House of Lords, and receive royal assent. This is the standard legislative process in the UK, involving several readings and stages in both Houses of Parliament. Question 38. What is the significance of the royal assent? A. It is a formality that allows the Prime Minister to veto legislation. B. It is the final step required for a bill to become law, signified by the monarch's approval. C. It refers to public approval of new laws. D. It is the initial approval required before a bill is debated in Parliament. Answer: B. It is the final step required for a bill to become law, signified by the monarch's approval. Royal assent is given by the monarch as a formal step in the legislative process, after which a bill becomes law. Question 39. What are the reserved powers in the Scottish Parliament? A. Powers over health, education and housing. B. Powers over defence, foreign affairs and monetary policy. C. Powers over agriculture, sports and local government. D. Powers over taxation and social security. Answer: B. Powers over defence, foreign affairs and monetary policy. Reserved powers are those that the UK Parliament retains control over, even in devolved administrations like Scotland. Question 40. Who are the members of the British Cabinet and how are they selected? A. Members are elected by the public and serve fixed terms. B. Members are senior government officials chosen by the Prime Minister. C. Members are appointed by the Queen without input from other branches of government. D. Members are chosen by the House of Lords from among their peers. Answer: B. Members are senior government officials chosen by the Prime Minister. The British Cabinet consists of the top ministers, typically heads of government departments, and picked by the Prime Minister to manage specific portfolios. Question 41. What role does the monarch play in modern British government? A. The monarch has full control over the government's decisions. B. The monarch's role is largely ceremonial, with no real powers in government. C. The monarch is responsible for appointing the Prime Minister. D. The monarch personally drafts and approves new laws. Answer: B. The monarch's role is largely ceremonial, with no real powers in government. In today's constitutional monarchy, the monarch's duties are mainly symbolic and ceremonial. Question 42. Describe the voting system used in UK general elections. A. Proportional representation. B. First past the post. C. Single transferable vote. D. Majority rule. Answer: B. First past the post. In UK general elections, the first past the post system is used, where the candidate with the most votes in each constituency wins a seat in Parliament. Question 43. What are the responsibilities of the Secretary of State for Defence? A. To manage the UK's housing policies. B. To oversee the country's defence and the armed forces. C. To handle foreign diplomatic relations. D. To supervise health and social care services. Answer: B. To oversee the country's defence and the armed forces. The Secretary of State for Defence is responsible for the defence of the United Kingdom and oversees everything related to the armed forces. Question 44. How does the UK participate in the United Nations? A. By providing financial contributions only. B. As a regular member without any special privileges. C. As a permanent member of the Security Council with veto power. D. The UK is not a member of the United Nations. Answer: C. As a permanent member of the Security Council with veto power. The UK is one of the 5 permanent members of the United Nations Security Council and plays a significant role in international relations and global policy making. Question 45. What are quangos and their purpose in the UK government? A. Military groups responsible for the defence of the realm. B. Regional assemblies with legislative powers. C. Quasi-autonomous non-governmental organisations that carry out administrative functions. D. Religious councils that oversee church activities. Answer: C. Quasi-autonomous non-governmental organisations that carry out administrative functions. Quangos, or quasi-autonomous non-governmental organisations, typically perform governmental functions at an arm's length from the ministers, providing expertise and impartial advice. Question 46. What does the term shadow cabinet refer to? A. A group of senior ministers from the ruling party who meet secretly. B. The official title for retired ministers. C. A team of senior opposition members who scrutinise government policies. D. A historical council that advise the monarch. Answer: C. A team of senior opposition members who scrutinise government policies. The shadow cabinet consists of members from the main opposition party ready to assume government responsibilities should they gain power. Question 47. What is the significance of the Chilcot Report? A. It reviewed the UK's decision to enter the Eurozone. B. It investigated the UK's role in the 2003 invasion of Iraq. C. It outlined reforms for the education sector. D. It assessed the impact of the UK's immigration policies. Answer: B. It investigated the UK's role in the 2003 invasion of Iraq. The Chilcot Report was a public inquiry into the UK's involvement in the Iraq War, highlighting the decision-making processes and the consequences of those decisions. Question 48. Describe the changes brought by the Human Rights Act 1998. A. It allowed for the creation of a national police force. B. It incorporated the European Convention on Human Rights into UK law. C. It established the UK's independence from European law. D. It deregulated the financial sector. Answer: B. It incorporated the European Convention on Human Rights into UK law. The Human Rights Act 1998 marked a significant development in ensuring that human rights are protected in UK law. Question 49. What is the role of the Mayor of London? A. To represent London in international trade negotiations. B. To oversee the London Stock Exchange. C. To manage London's public transport, housing and environment. D. To serve as the Queen's representative in London. Answer: C. To manage London's public transport, housing and environment. The Mayor of London has executive powers over areas such as transportation, policing, housing and the environment within Greater London. Question 50. How does the UK government address environmental issues? A. Through the Ministry of Magic. B. By promoting industrial growth over environmental regulation. C. Through policies on conservation, emissions and renewable energy. D. The UK government does not involve itself in environmental issues. Answer: C. Through policies on conservation, emissions and renewable energy. The UK government addresses environmental issues through various regulations and initiatives aimed at conservation, reducing emissions, and promoting renewable energy sources. Question 51. What is the Barnett formula and how does it affect UK finances? A. A method for calculating taxes that each citizen must pay. B. A formula determining the distribution of public expenditure across the UK regions. C. A financial strategy for reducing national debt. D. A calculation used to set the salaries of public officials. Answer: B. A formula determining the distribution of public expenditure across the UK regions. The Barnett formula is used to adjust the amounts of public money allocated to Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales to reflect changes in spending levels allocated to public services in England. Question 52. Who was the first woman to sit in the House of Commons? A. Margaret Thatcher. B. Nancy Astor. C. Theresa May. D. Jo Cox. Answer: B. Nancy Astor. Nancy Astor was the first woman to sit as a Member of Parliament, MP, in the House of Commons, taking her seat in 1919. Question 53. What led to the creation of the National Health Service? A. The need for a private healthcare system. B. The effects of the Beveridge Report recommending healthcare reforms. C. A decree by Queen Elizabeth I. D. Economic prosperity in the post-war era. Answer: B. The effects of the Beveridge Report recommending healthcare reforms. The National Health Service, NHS, was established in 1948 following recommendations from the Beveridge Report, which called for comprehensive health and rehabilitation services for prevention and cure of disease. Question 54. Describe the impact of Margaret Thatcher's privatisation policies. A. They led to the nationalisation of key industries. B. They reduced the size of government and increased private ownership of companies. C. They expanded the welfare state significantly. D. They banned private enterprises. Answer: B. They reduced the size of government and increased private ownership of companies. Margaret Thatcher's privatisation policies during the 1980s aimed to reduce the role of the state in the economy and increase the role of the private sector in providing services and generating wealth. Question 55. What are the implications of the UK leaving the European Union? Brexit. A. Increased travel restrictions and changes in trade agreements. B. Closer political ties with the EU. C. Mandatory adoption of the euro by the UK. D. The UK becoming part of the United States. Answer. A. Increased travel restrictions and changes in trade agreements. Brexit has led to a revaluation and renegotiation of trade agreements, as well as changes in travel rules between the UK and EU countries. Question 56. What was the role of Britain in the creation of the European Union? A. Britain was opposed to the creation of the EU. B. Britain led the efforts to create the EU. C. Britain was a founding member of the EU. D. Britain joined the European Economic Community, which later became the EU, but was not a founding member. Answer. D. Britain joined the European Economic Community, which later became the EU, but was not a founding member. The UK joined in 1973, well after the original 6 founding countries established the European Economic Community in 1957. Question 57. Who are the non-departmental public bodies and what do they do? A. They are military units responsible for defence. B. They are advisory groups that help the government manage public funds. C. They are organisations that operate independently to carry out public functions. D. They are political parties that do not hold any seats in Parliament. Answer. C. They are organisations that operate independently to carry out public functions. Non-departmental public bodies, also known as quangos, perform specific functions that are not directly managed by ministers, but are still part of the government's responsibilities. Question 58. What is the Constitutional Reform Act 2005 and why is it important? A. It reformed the educational curriculum throughout the UK. B. It changed the way the House of Lords operates. C. It established the Supreme Court of the United Kingdom, ensuring the separation of powers between the judiciary and Parliament. D. It allowed for the UK to adopt the euro. Answer. C. It established the Supreme Court of the United Kingdom, ensuring the separation of powers between the judiciary and Parliament. The Constitutional Reform Act 2005 was significant for enhancing the independence of the judiciary and clarifying the separation of powers. Question 59. How does the UK government support the arts? A. By banning all foreign films and music. B. Through funding, grants and public programmes provided by organisations such as the Arts Council. C. By mandating that all citizens attend arts events. D. Through private donations only. Answer. B. Through funding, grants and public programmes provided by organisations such as the Arts Council. The UK government supports the arts through a variety of funding mechanisms intended to promote cultural growth and accessibility. Question 60. Describe the principle of parliamentary sovereignty. A. The judiciary has the ultimate authority over both Parliament and the monarch. B. The monarch has supreme authority over the Parliament and the courts. C. Parliament has the supreme authority over all other government institutions. D. Local governments have autonomy over the national Parliament. Answer. C. Parliament has the supreme authority over all other government institutions. Parliamentary sovereignty means that Parliament is the supreme legal authority, which can create or end any law. Generally, the courts cannot overrule its legislation, and no Parliament can pass laws that future Parliaments cannot change. Question 61. What historical figure is known as the father of the common law? A. Sir Edward Coke. B. Sir William Blackstone. C. Henry Eyre. D. Thomas More. Answer: C. Henry Eyre. Henry Eyre is known as the father of the common law for his role in establishing the legal system that would later be known as English common law, which relied heavily on judicial decisions and practices rather than solely on written laws. Question 62. What was the gunpowder plot and who was involved? A. A plan to increase gunpowder production involving Oliver Cromwell. B. A conspiracy to overthrow the king involving Guy Fawkes. C. A military strategy during the English Civil War. D. A trade agreement to monopolize gunpowder supplies. Answer: B. A conspiracy to overthrow the king involving Guy Fawkes. The gunpowder plot of 1605 was an attempt by a group of provincial English Catholics led by Robert Casely, with Guy Fawkes also notably involved, to blow up the House of Lords and kill King James I to end Protestant rule in England. Question 63. Explain the UK's coalition government formed in 2010. A. A coalition formed between the Labour Party and the Liberal Democrats. B. A temporary alliance between the Conservative Party and the Green Party. C. A formal government formed between the Conservative Party and the Liberal Democrats. D. An emergency government combining all political parties. Answer: C. A formal government formed between the Conservative Party and the Liberal Democrats. The 2010 coalition government was the first formal peacetime coalition since the 1930s, formed after no single party could secure an outright majority in the general election. Question 64. What are the main issues addressed by UK immigration laws? A. Regulating the economy and education standards. B. Determining who can enter, stay, and work in the country. C. Governing international trade agreements. D. Setting environmental protection standards. Answer: B. Determining who can enter, stay, and work in the country. UK immigration laws focus on controlling the flow of people into and out of the country, determining eligibility for entry, stay, and access to employment and benefits. Question 65. What powers does the Scottish Parliament have over education? A. Full legislative powers including curriculum and funding. B. Only advisory powers with no legislative authority. C. Powers related only to higher education. D. No powers, as education is reserved to the UK Parliament. Answer: A. Full legislative powers including curriculum and funding. The Scottish Parliament has comprehensive powers over education in Scotland, including setting the curriculum standards and funding for both primary and secondary education. Question 66. How is the Speaker of the House of Commons chosen? A. Appointment by the monarch. B. Election by the public during general elections. C. Selection by the Prime Minister. D. Election by members of Parliament. Answer: D. Election by members of Parliament. The Speaker of the House of Commons is elected by MPs from among their ranks at the beginning of each new Parliament or upon the vacancy of the role. Question 67. What reforms did the Welfare Reform Act 2012 introduce? A. An increase in social housing. B. The introduction of universal credit to simplify and consolidate welfare benefits. C. Expanded healthcare services. D. Greater regulations on financial institutions. Answer: B. The introduction of universal credit to simplify and consolidate welfare benefits. The Welfare Reform Act 2012 was significant for introducing universal credit, designed to combine several social security benefits into a single payment, intended to simplify the benefits system and incentivize work. Question 68. What role did the UK play in the formation of NATO? A. The UK was opposed to the formation of NATO. B. The UK was a founding member and instrumental in its creation. C. The UK joined NATO 10 years after it was established. D. The UK had no role in the formation of NATO. Answer: B. The UK was a founding member and instrumental in its creation. The United Kingdom was one of the 12 original founding nations of NATO, formed in 1949 as a collective defense alliance in response to threats posed by the Soviet Union. Question 69. Who was involved in the English Reformation and what were its consequences? A. Oliver Cromwell, leading to the establishment of the Commonwealth. B. Queen Elizabeth I, resulting in the Elizabethan religious settlement. C. Henry VIII, leading to the break with the Roman Catholic Church. D. James I, leading to the King James Bible. Answer: C. Henry VIII, leading to the break with the Roman Catholic Church. The English Reformation began with Henry VIII's quest to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon, ultimately leading to England's break from the Roman Catholic Church and the establishment of the Church of England. Question 70. What was the impact of the Industrial Strategy Commission? A. It led to the privatization of state-owned enterprises. B. It resulted in the UK withdrawing from the European Union. C. It focused on long-term industrial strategy to boost productivity and economic growth. D. It imposed strict environmental regulations on industrial activities. Answer: C. It focused on long-term industrial strategy to boost productivity and economic growth. The Industrial Strategy Commission was established to provide independent strategic advice to government on long-term industrial strategy, emphasizing innovation, productivity, and sustainable economic growth. Question 71. Who is eligible to vote in a UK general election? A. All residents over the age of 16. B. British, Irish, and qualifying Commonwealth citizens over 18 who are resident in the UK. C. Only British citizens over the age of 21. D. All European Union citizens living in the UK. Answer: B. British, Irish, and qualifying Commonwealth citizens over 18 who are resident in the UK. These groups are eligible to vote in UK general elections, provided they meet the residency and registration requirements. Question 72. What was the significance of the Balfour Declaration? A. It declared British support for a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. B. It established the terms for the end of World War I. C. It outlined the principles of the Commonwealth. D. It initiated the UK's nuclear programme. Answer: A. It declared British support for a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine, issued in 1917 by British Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour. The declaration was significant for its impact on the Middle East and its role in shaping international policy regarding Israel and Palestine. Question 73. Describe the relationship between the UK and the Commonwealth. A. The UK is a member but has no influence in the Commonwealth. B. The UK is the founding and leading member of the Commonwealth, a voluntary association of 54 independent countries. C. The UK and the Commonwealth are legally bound by EU laws. D. The Commonwealth is part of the UK's governmental structure. Answer: B. The UK is the founding and leading member of the Commonwealth, a voluntary association of 54 independent countries. The relationship is based on shared values and history, with the Queen serving as the symbolic head of the Commonwealth. Question 74. How does the UK Parliament function without a written constitution? A. It operates based on a series of conventions and statutes. B. It does not function effectively without a written constitution. C. It relies solely on judicial interpretations of law. D. It is governed by EU regulations. Answer: A. It operates based on a series of conventions and statutes. The UK does not have a single written constitution, but is governed by conventions, historical documents, and an accumulation of statutes and legal precedents. Question 75. What are the legal qualifications for becoming a UK Prime Minister? A. Must be a native-born British citizen. B. Must hold a seat in either House of Parliament. C. Must be over 35 years of age. D. Must be a member of the House of Commons. Answer: D. Must be a member of the House of Commons. While there is no specific legal requirement regarding nationality or age, traditionally the Prime Minister is a sitting MP, Member of Parliament, and the leader of the party that can command a majority in the House of Commons. Question 76. What is judicial review, and how does it function in the UK? A. It is a review by the Queen of any new laws. B. It allows courts to decide if a law is constitutional. C. It allows the judiciary to review the lawfulness of a decision or action by a public body. D. It is a parliamentary process for reviewing legislation. Answer: C. It allows the judiciary to review the lawfulness of a decision or action by a public body. Judicial review in the UK is a process by which judges ensure that public decisions are made legally, fairly, and with respect to human rights. Question 77. What role did the UK have in the Treaty of Maastricht? A. The UK was the primary opponent of the treaty. B. The UK ratified the treaty to join the Eurozone. C. The UK was instrumental in drafting the treaty, which led to the formation of the European Union. D. The UK secured an opt-out from the Euro and certain social policy provisions. Answer: D. The UK secured an opt-out from the Euro and certain social policy provisions, while the Treaty of Maastricht in 1992 led to the creation of the European Union and the Eurozone. The UK negotiated opt-outs from some aspects of the treaty, reflecting its cautious approach to European integration. Question 78. Who was behind the establishment of the Bank of England? A. Queen Elizabeth I. B. Sir Robert Walpole. C. William I. D. Charles II. Answer: C. William I. The Bank of England, established in 1694, was chartered by King William I to act as the government's banker and debt manager. Question 79. What impact did the Crimean War have on British military policies? A. It led to significant technological advancements in weaponry. B. It prompted major reforms in the administration of the British Army. C. It resulted in the territorial expansion of the British Empire. D. It decreased the UK's military expenditures significantly. Answer: B. It prompted major reforms in the administration of the British Army. The shortcomings exposed during the Crimean War, 1853 to 1856, particularly in logistics and medical care, led to significant reforms in the British military system. Question 80. What are the specific functions of the UK's local government? A. To declare war and manage international relations. B. To administer education, transportation, and local services. C. To regulate international trade. D. To handle all judicial matters. Answer: B. To administer education, transportation, and local services, Local governments in the UK are responsible for providing a range of services including education, transport, planning, fire and public safety, social care, libraries, waste management, and trading standards. Question 81. How did the Great Reform Act change British electoral policy? A. It abolished the monarchy's involvement in elections. B. It introduced secret ballots. C. It expanded the electorate and reformed the distribution of parliamentary seats. D. It allowed women to vote. Answer: C. It expanded the electorate and reformed the distribution of parliamentary seats. The Great Reform Act of 1832 was a pivotal change in British electoral policy, addressing widespread calls for reform by expanding the electorate and redistributing seats to more accurately reflect the population distribution. Question 82. What is the impact of the Freedom of Information Act? A. It restricted public access to governmental documents. B. It provides public access to information held by public authorities. C. It increased censorship within the media. D. It protected government secrets without exception. Answer: B. It provides public access to information held by public authorities. The Freedom of Information Act 2000 promotes transparency and accountability in the public sector by allowing the public to request access to information held by public authorities. Question 83. Describe the changes made by the Scotland Act 2016. A. It dissolved the Scottish Parliament. B. It gave Scotland full independence from the UK. C. It enhanced devolution by granting additional powers over taxation and welfare. D. It removed all legislative powers from Scotland. Answer: C. It enhanced devolution by granting additional powers over taxation and welfare. The Scotland Act 2016 significantly increased the powers of the Scottish Parliament, particularly in areas such as taxation and social welfare. Question 84. How does the UK handle national emergencies? A. Through local government agencies only. B. By imposing martial law immediately. C. Through coordinated efforts by local and national agencies under comprehensive emergency plans. D. The UK has no specific plan for national emergencies. Answer: C. Through coordinated efforts by local and national agencies under comprehensive emergency plans. The UK government, along with local authorities, uses established emergency plans and frameworks to manage and respond to national crises effectively. Question 85. What was the purpose of the Butler Act? A. To reform the UK's educational system by raising the school-leaving age. B. To establish parliamentary standards. C. To deregulate the telecommunications industry. D. To introduce a new tax system. Answer: A. To reform the UK's educational system by raising the school-leaving age. The Butler Act, also known as the Education Act 1944, made significant changes to the education system in England and Wales, including raising the school-leaving age and implementing the tripartite system. Question 86. How does the UK address issues of national security? A. Through the National Health Service. B. By using private security firms exclusively. C. Through policies and actions coordinated by the Home Office and intelligence services. D. National security is not a priority in UK policy. Answer: C. Through policies and actions coordinated by the Home Office and intelligence services. The UK addresses national security issues through a coordinated approach involving various government departments and intelligence services, focusing on both domestic and international threats. Question 87. Describe the UK's policies on renewable energy. A. The UK opposes any form of renewable energy. B. The UK supports renewable energy through subsidies and targets for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. C. The UK has no specific policies on renewable energy. D. Renewable energy is banned in the UK. Answer B. The UK supports renewable energy through subsidies and targets for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. The UK government promotes renewable energy as part of its strategy to reduce carbon emissions and combat climate change, employing various incentives to encourage the adoption and development of renewable energy technologies. Question 88. What are the legal systems in the different countries of the UK? A. All countries follow the exact same legal system. B. England and Wales share a legal system. Scotland has its own legal system, and Northern Ireland has another. C. Each country has a completely independent legal system. D. The legal systems are merged for criminal law but separate for civil law. Answer B. England and Wales share a legal system. Scotland has its own legal system, and Northern Ireland has another. The UK is unique in having 3 distinct legal systems, with differences particularly pronounced in Scotland compared to England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Question 89. Who are the permanent secretaries and what do they do? A. They are lifetime members of the House of Lords. B. They are the heads of government departments responsible for overseeing the administration and ensuring policies are implemented. C. They serve as the personal secretaries to the Prime Minister. D. They are judges in the Supreme Court. Answer B. They are the heads of government departments responsible for overseeing the administration and ensuring policies are implemented. Permanent secretaries are senior civil servants who lead major government departments, ensuring that government policies are carried out effectively. Question 90. How does the UK manage economic policy? A. Through the independent actions of each local council. B. By the monarch's direct control and decree. C. Through the Treasury, which coordinates fiscal policy, and the Bank of England, which manages monetary policy. D. Economic policy is determined by foreign governments. Answer C. Through the Treasury, which coordinates fiscal policy, and the Bank of England, which manages monetary policy. The UK's economic policy is managed through a coordinated approach involving the Treasury for fiscal matters and the Bank of England for monetary policy, ensuring economic stability and growth. Question 91. Explain the role of the UK in international trade. A. The UK has isolated itself from all international trade. B. The UK actively participates in shaping global trade policies and has extensive trade agreements worldwide. C. The UK only trades with EU countries. D. The UK prohibits international trade. Answer B. The UK actively participates in shaping global trade policies and has extensive trade agreements worldwide. Post-Brexit, the UK continues to be a major player in international trade, seeking to establish new trade agreements and maintain its global economic presence. Question 92. What are the implications of the UK's nuclear deterrent policy? A. It commits the UK to using nuclear weapons in conflict. B. It maintains nuclear weapons to deter threats to national security, contributing to national and international stability. C. It has led to the disarmament of all nuclear capabilities. D. The policy calls for the immediate use of nuclear weapons against aggressive nations. Answer B. It maintains nuclear weapons to deter threats to national security, contributing to national and international stability. The UK's policy of maintaining a nuclear deterrent is intended to prevent attacks by making the costs for aggressors unacceptably high. Question 93. What is the current UK stance on human rights? A. The UK does not recognise human rights. B. The UK is a global leader in promoting and protecting human rights, both domestically and internationally. C. Human rights are considered only in domestic policy, not in international relations. D. The UK recognises human rights only for its citizens. Answer: B. The UK is a global leader in promoting and protecting human rights, both domestically and internationally. The UK actively supports human rights through legislation like the Human Rights Act 1998 and its international commitments. Question 94. How does the UK Parliament scrutinise the government? A. Through public opinion polls only. B. By allowing the monarch to oversee and control the government. C. Through debates, questioning sessions, and committee reviews to hold the government to account. D. The Parliament does not have the power to scrutinise the government. Answer: C. Through debates, questioning sessions, and committee reviews to hold the government to account. Parliamentary scrutiny in the UK is a critical function, with mechanisms including Prime Minister's questions, debates, and select committees investigating and challenging government actions and policies. Question 95. What are the functions of the UK's Supreme Court? A. To oversee elections and referendums. B. To advise the monarch on legal issues. C. To serve as the final court of appeal in the UK for civil cases and for criminal cases from England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. D. To draft legislation. Answer: C. To serve as the final court of appeal in the UK for civil cases and for criminal cases from England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. The UK Supreme Court plays a crucial role in the judiciary by ensuring that laws are interpreted and applied correctly, providing a final avenue for appeal. Question 96. Describe the evolution of UK's public broadcasting. A. It has steadily declined since its inception. B. It began with the establishment of the BBC in 1922 to provide impartial public service broadcasting. C. It is entirely funded and controlled by the government. D. Public broadcasting does not exist in the UK. Answer: B. It began with the establishment of the BBC in 1922 to provide impartial public service broadcasting. The BBC, funded by a television licence fee from UK households, plays a pivotal role in delivering unbiased news, education and entertainment. Question 97. What historical events led to the formation of the UK's current borders? A. The Viking invasions and settlements. B. The unification of the crowns under James I and subsequent Acts of Union in the 18th century. C. The Norman conquest alone. D. Recent Brexit negotiations. Answer: B. The unification of the crowns under James I and subsequent Acts of Union in the 18th century. The political union of England and Scotland in 1707 under the Acts of Union, followed by the union with Ireland in 1801, shaped the UK's current borders, with the later partition of Ireland in 1922 establishing the boundary between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. Question 98. How does the UK's Electoral Commission maintain voting integrity? A. By allowing unrestricted campaign contributions. B. By overseeing the conduct of elections and referendums, ensuring they are fair and transparent. C. By limiting the right to vote. D. The UK does not have an electoral commission. Answer: B. Pi overseeing the conduct of elections and referendums, ensuring they are fair and transparent. The UK's Electoral Commission plays a crucial role in promoting and upholding democracy through the regulation of party and election finance and setting standards for how elections should be run. Question 99. What are the Crown dependencies and what is their relationship with the UK? A. They are former colonies with no current ties to the UK. B. Independent nations that share the UK's monarch as their head of state. C. They are territories that are self-governing but rely on the UK for defence and international representation. D. They are directly governed by the UK Parliament. Answer. C. They are territories that are self-governing but rely on the UK for defence and international representation. The Crown dependencies, which include the Channel Islands and the Isle of Man, are not part of the UK but maintain a relationship where the UK is responsible for their defence and international affairs. Question 100. Describe the role and significance of the Magna Carta in modern times. A. It serves as the current constitution of the UK. B. It has no relevance in modern law and is only of historical interest. C. It is considered a foundational document, symbolizing the principle of rule of law and influencing legal systems worldwide. D. It dictates the laws of commerce in the UK. Answer. C. It is considered a foundational document, symbolizing the principle of rule of law and influencing legal systems worldwide. The Magna Carta, signed in 1215, has become a symbol of the rights and liberties fought for in democratic societies and remains a point of reference for discussions on civil liberties and constitutional law. Question 101. What measures does the UK take to combat terrorism domestically and internationally? A. The UK focuses only on domestic terrorism. B. Through comprehensive anti-terrorism legislation, intelligence operations, and international cooperation. C. By deploying the military in all suspected terrorist regions. D. The UK has no specific measures to combat terrorism. Answer. B. Through comprehensive anti-terrorism legislation, intelligence operations, and international cooperation. The UK combats terrorism through a combination of robust legislative frameworks, extensive intelligence and surveillance operations, and collaboration with international partners to address threats both at home and abroad.